Also, Cody, your cursor is on your timer. Dead giveaway. Yeah, no kidding. I am Canadian. You know how it is. And without further ado, folks, we are off. Please note there is a 3-second delay, it looks like, between Cody and Interslice so far. Cody struggling with the final boss of the game already. Just going with a little bit of fumble on the targets there. Let's see how he does on part 2. Much better. Interslice with a little bit of trouble on the second part of targets. Interslice opting to morph after the door opens. Interesting. I'm glad my mic is remedied, shall we say. Interslice also opting not to move using bombs. Very interesting strategy so far. Cody nailing that scan dash. Interslice a little bit of trouble. Yeah, well, you know, we got it. So, if anyone has questions throughout the run, I am going to be using some more technical Metroid Prime lingo here. So if anyone has questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. If anyone has questions, especially such as things like scan dashes or ether jumping, things like that. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I think Interslice does do the frigate wall crawl, or frigate right, as some people are taking to call it. Cody with an early bit of lead here. Only a couple seconds, but still. Cody, no trouble in the movement there. What is a scan dash? Okay, so essentially what happens when you're scan dashing is you're abusing the fact that there is no sideways movement speed cap. There's sideways acceleration, but there's no movement speed cap. So in most situations you want to be moving horizontally in some manner. So what you do is when you dash, you'll get a quick burst of speed, and then you will end up losing speed quite quickly. However, if you let go of the L button or press the R button at a certain time when you're dashing to the side, you end up not losing speed due to the friction of functionally air, right? That way you move a lot faster than if you were to move forward or just dash normally. Dashing is meant usually for combat, but you can do it whenever you're locked on in scan visor as well. One of the things we noticed here fairly recently was how Cody moved through biohazard containment, where Interslice went all the way around the room. Cody used a trick that he actually discovered. Using is what we call it a ledge clip. Using a specific series of jumps and bomb jumps, you can actually get on top of the ledge faster than going all the way outside, all the way around the room. Cody here using rapid fire missiles. Now, in Parasite Queen, what you're meant to do is you're meant to either just spam missiles and shots at Parasite Queen's body, or you're meant to scan her to reveal her weak spot, which is her mouth. Now, without scanning her, you can't lock onto her weak spot, but you can manually aim, which Cody did there, and use a trick called rapid fire missiles. If you hold upward on the C stick, it tries to transfer tries to transfer back to your charge beam right after you fire a missile, which allows you to shoot approximately 3 missiles a second instead of 1 missile every 3 seconds. Oh, you've never seen a Prime run before? Okay, well, welcome. Have you played the game before, Speed Tommy? And also, what I want to cover here while Cody's moving is he's going out of bounds here using a very specific angle and movement. What you can do is push your morph ball hitbox part way out of bounds, and then what'll happen is it'll reposition you to try to deal with the fact you're currently basically in a wall. Interslice is opting not to go out of bounds here, which I believe is 43 seconds slower optimally. Cody having a little bit of trouble with the movement here. Oh, there we go. We're good. And yeah, so Cody's opting to maneuver out of bounds, which saves a bunch of time. RTA, it saves more time than in-game time, which we usually measure by. We usually measure by in-game time in Prime to deal with the fact that load times are different for different people, right? And it's a bit of a variable. There's lots of reasons why we measure by in-game time, but this tournament is RTA. So we are using the timers as opposed to the displayed end time. Yeah. So, quick things about movement out of bounds in Metroid Prime is that essentially every room is inside of a box. Now, inside that box is normal physics, and outside of that box is what we call ether. In ether, you are considered to be standing, but you can't jump. The only movement you can do is horizontal, and the fact that you move slowly upward as you move. The estimated time for the run, for comparison. The world record now. The world record, I believe, in-game time is 49 minutes. However, the RTA is about 109, 110, I believe. Estimated time for run now. Cody has a 59, or excuse me, I believe he might have a 57 now. I'm not entirely sure about that. So, I would say estimated time for a race would be about 120, 125. Usually, to be safe, we say 130 on GDQs. Anyway, yeah, so you can see Cody's off to a very quick lead here, as Interslice has to go all the way through the frigate instead of literally just going out of bounds and finding the exit. Talon Canyon. Oh boy. I'm very much looking forward to the Talon Canyon movement that we're about to see from Cody. I'm not sure if the Craigasm is ironic or not. Anyway, so back to out of bounds. What happens is, as you move in and out of the ether, you can sometimes, or you have 3 frames to jump, because it considers you to still be standing as you move out of the ether and into normal physics while you're out of bounds. And in that 3 frames, you can use that to jump and then move back into the ether and get another jump as you move out of it. That's what's called ether jumping, and Cody used that to climb the elevator room while he's out of bounds. That's the only way of moving upward properly, except for just basically standing there and floating in the ether if you're not capable of ether jumping. But that does take a very long time. Out of bounds movement is very precise because you have to hit the specific load triggers that you're meant to hit in bounds, but we do have ways of doing that otherwise. Yeah, Cody is an incredibly skilled runner. However, Cody does have a cursed run, as he's elected not to turn off the hint system, which is going to trigger me forever. Yeah, so Cody's already got missiles and space jump and is moving towards Morph Ball here, but Interslice is way behind here already at just in the landing site. So one of the things I want to try to catch up to Cody's run here in tricks. So what you saw at the beginning as he landed, as he got off the ship, was he moved, he scan dashed to the right, which allows you to get space jump early, which you're not supposed to get space jump until after you already have Morph Ball, which cuts off a significant series of the run because you're able to do a bunch of movement that you couldn't otherwise do without space jump, and that's our first sequence break of the game. Using space jump, as soon as he gets to Chozo Ruins, he can do what's called a slope jump, which allows you to use some of the upward momentum that you get when you move into a slope, essentially, right? As you move forward into a slope, it pushes you upwards, and using that momentum, you can get extra momentum going upwards when you jump. Doing that, you can reach the missiles at the top of the half pipe in the I can't remember the name of the room. Dang it. Anyway, half pipe is the word I was looking for, though. And by so doing, you can get to Morph Ball bombs early. It makes it so you don't have to fight the hive. And then by getting Morph Ball, you then go towards going to get Charge Beam next would be the correct way, as you both have missiles and Morph Ball now. Yeah, no kidding. Cody's a hero. Specifically not triggering yours truly, which is really nice. Anyway, we're considering here to Charge Beam. Now, this room is quite tricky to do normally, but we do have setups that make it quite a bit easier. Notice how Cody's using the timing of his jumps and the angles that he's scanning at to make it a lot easier. Now, Interslice here, you can see what Cody did recently. You actually can skip the fight by going all the way across to Morph Ball, using a scan dash, and then on the way back he's just going to space jump out. Now the thing is, by getting out of this fight early, what ends up happening is you kind of keep the music forever, which is kind of unfortunate. It's about 5 minutes you keep the music, because we actually activate the incinerator drone, which will overwrite the music that we're listening to. The incinerator drone is not meant to be the first mini boss fight other than Parasite Queen, but it's going to be the first mini boss fight other than Parasite Queen. Now Cody here opting to shoot a missile at that door. That's going to become very handy later on when we need to cancel something called infinite speed. And I'll touch on that later on. Now Interslice here, not choosing to do the strat. The interesting thing about that door is, in Ruined Fountain, no door will open until you've loaded every other room that connects to it. But you can sort of skip doing that by allowing the first room to load that you're wanting to move into, and then pressing the Z button to pull up the map. Also, another hint that I'm Canadian, I said Z. I do unfortunately use Z and Z interchangeably. Cody here now moving into the incinerator drone. Now, you're supposed to dodge the fire, but there's this little ledge you can stand on if you know what you're doing. If you can grab a slope jump off the little morph ball track there at the bottom, you can get up here. Or if you just have space jump, but we have space jump, so it's all good. We can get up here easily. That way, you just have to shoot the war wasps, and this fight's pretty trivial. Now, this is the first big piece of RNG in the run, though, because each phase before the weak spot pops up is a random amount of time. I don't remember the actual time periods that it can possibly be, or the range, but we want it so that the music doesn't loop. That's what we consider to be a good incinerator drone. Now, Cody with a little bit of a trip up there, opting to jump up to shoot the war wasp instead of shooting the weak spot. All right, so we are going to get a loop out of Cody here. That is unfortunate. We'll see how Interslice does later on. A lot of speedrunners have less than stream friendly terms that we use to refer to the split that incinerator drone sits in. A lot of us will have separate splits for entering incinerator drone and leaving incinerator drone, or as we call it, Zoid. Cody here exiting incinerator drone while Interslice is still in the cutscene. Yeah, that little gate there is really frustrating. We did some experimentation with removing load speeds for a number of things, but we actually have setups that involve load speed, so it becomes a little frustrating to even do that. That's of course only available on emulator, which we don't allow after a certain skill level of PB at least. Cody here opting to go for what we refer to as kids meal. It's a really easy missile that we can get for free, but it does cost a little bit more time than another missile later on down the road. However, it does make a number of things a lot easier. Cody going for the safety save makes total sense. Now, the question is, are we going to see the route? No, we're not. Okay. Cody not opting to do IBBF right now. We will be seeing it later from him. Now, this room, similarly to where we get Charge Beam, you're supposed to scan a number of points that open up a gate up top. That's slow. So we go ahead and not do that, and instead Cody's going to bomb jump over the gate, making it look absolutely incredibly easy. Spoiler alert, it's not easy. Shoutouts to your last race. Yeah, Cody, we're not going to talk about that, okay? Because the next room is so big and because you're loading a boss, it does take a little while to load here. Fortunately, we can use that time to stock up on missiles and health. Now, Flagra is the first real boss of the game. I'm not really counting Parasite Queen as a boss. I'll count her as a mini boss. So what happens here is you're meant to knock down the mirrors, or knock the mirrors up so that Flagra is weakened, and then she'll fall over. You use that time when she retracts her vines to go and destroy the slot using a morph ball bomb. Now, the thing is, though, after you deal with the first mirror, more mirrors start coming down, and you're supposed to knock them all up before Flagra will get weakened. She will, however, knock them back down if you take too long. Cody here opting to do something a little bit more, fast. and instead not dealing with the mirrors, because the bomb slots are now active, having dealt with the first one, we're just gonna scan dash over to the morph ball slot, and we're gonna stand on top of it in Bono, because who needs magnetism, right? That's unfortunate. Now, combat dashes work a lot the same as scan dashes. It's the same functional thing. It's just a different visor that you're using. You can scan dash off of anything that you can combat dash off of, but you cannot combat dash off of everything you can scan dash off of. You can only combat dash off of things that are targetable by your beams, even if your beam can't do damage to it. Because we're not knocking Flagra down, we don't actually get the regular cutscene. She keeps trying to attack you during the cutscene, which is a little weird. But now, notably, a difference between this version and the Player's Choice version. In the Player's Choice version, they actually fixed an error that was in other versions and actually played the whole song. There's an entire song that's supposed to play during Flagra, not just like 2 notes, but or 2 chords, but you know. It's faster to play on the original version, so we do. There are a number of things you can't do in the Player's Choice version that you can do in this version. Scan dashing is one of them. You can combat dash, but you cannot scan dash, which means that you have to take a lot longer to do a number of things, and some tricks aren't possible entirely. Cody here already getting very astute. Now, notably, at the end of the frigate, we'll have seen that Interslice actually went through the cutscene where he lost the items. Cody didn't. Now, we were hoping when we originally found the frigate wall crawler that would be a way of skipping item loss, but unfortunately, because of the way it works, boarding the ship causes you to lose your items as well off the frigate. So unless we find a wrong warp, which is incredibly unlikely, we're not going to be able to skip item loss in this game. Cody here coming up to an incredibly difficult trick we call early wild, or some people call it artifact of early wild, but you know how it be. Cody's going to jump into the corner here and use the friction in the corner while holding a very specific direction into the corner to allow him to bomb jump all the way up, because his descent is slowed by holding a certain angle on the joystick. By doing this, we'll trigger the artifact of wild to be there after a ghost fight. The unmorph there, the dismount, is incredibly difficult to time if you don't know what you're doing. There are a number of tutorials out there, but the basic principle is that you want to hold up into the other direction before you unmorph, or you won't get the momentum required to get there. Now we're going to see the first appearance of Chozo Ghosts. This is not meant to be the first time you see them, but because we're doing early wild, we get this as the first instance. Now, the fastest way to deal with Chozo Ghost is to use super missiles, but we don't have super missiles, and we won't ever have super missiles in this run because they're slow. Now, one of the neat things is if you shoot a Chozo Ghost at a certain point in its animation, it'll stay visible and you can actually stun lock it. You have to shoot it with a charge beam, though, to be able to do that. Now, here's the principle behind early wild. What essentially happens is that halfway down partway down the morph ball track, there's a trigger that you want to hit moving upward. When you hit it moving upward, it actually caused the layer of this room to change to the artifact of wild state. You're not supposed to have come back here until you have super missiles and spider ball. You're supposed to shoot a number of things with super missiles and then scan some stuff and roll up the track using spider ball. Ghost's not being particularly kind to Cody, unfortunately, here. That was not the best timing of all time, but still quite a bit ahead of Interslice. So. Now, missing Artifact of Wild in a race is, or Artifact or Early Wild rather, is kind of a death sentence because you have to go so far out of your way coming back. You actually have to. There are basically 2 other options after you miss Early Wild. You can do what's called the main Plaza Secret World, and wall crawl all the way over here. Wall crawling, by the way, is what we call moving out of bounds between rooms and getting to the room you're trying to go to. Cody now moving to Magmore Caverns, having already gotten an artifact you're certainly not supposed to have at this point of the game. You're not supposed to have space jump. You're not supposed to have space jump. You're not supposed to have artifact of world. Those are the two items that we're not supposed to have at this point. Yeah. So you can do either the main Plaza Secret World to come back and do this trick essentially out of bounds, or you can go and fight Thardus and get Spider Ball. We are not getting Spider Ball in this run, is the goal. That was quite high for an Interslice to dismount there. It's possible that if you go too high, you can actually hit something that causes you to move wrong. You hit a piece of collision. Now with this artifact here, you're meant to have X-ray visors and super missiles. So you use X-ray visor to see the artifact, and then you shoot a super missile at the column to destroy it. Weirdly though, it's programmed such that 2 missiles will just destroy the column, and if we know it's there, we don't need X-ray visor. You do need X-ray visor to change the layer of a certain room, and to properly fight Essence at the end of the run. But other than that, we don't really need X-ray visor much. Anyway, moving through Magmore is quite tricky. There are a lot of things that can deal a lot of damage very quickly. So you'll notice that in Main Plaza, right after grabbing the missiles, both runners grabbed an energy tank. This is quite advisable, as lava does a lot of damage, and so do the enemies. Cody opting to climb the side of the cliff face here, which it's certainly not meant to do, and then combat dash off of a puffer to get to the walkway that you're meant to go all the way around the room up to fight. You're meant to fight a couple of turrets on the way as well. Cody opting to grab race tank, which is another advisable thing. It doesn't cost you very much time, and it certainly helps when you're dealing with higher damage enemies. Most runners will only collect 2 or 3 energy tanks. I think the accepted value is 3 for races. You grab Main Plaza, you grab Finjana North or South Finjana elevator access, and you grab one of them outside of Pirate Labs. I can't remember the name of that room. Interslice here, having got an artifact of world, is going to be following Cody into Magmore. Cody is now in Fendrana, which is it's my personal favorite area of the game. Just the particle effects of the snow are just so pretty. I remember going through Fendrana and absolutely loving it. I used to listen to on LimeWire. I downloaded the track for Fendrana Fendrana Drifts from the OST, and I just loved listening to it in the car with my parents at the time. I must have been 7 or 8, so it's just such a pretty song. Anyway, Cody here going through Fendrana Canyon a different way than where you're supposed to do. You're supposed to scan a thing that will cause the little platforms here to move to a certain position that you can just jump to them. That's slow, so we're just going to space jump because we're not meant to have space jump here. Scan dashing off of the inverted snow cone that Cody was trying to do there is fast, but it's quite precise. So if you miss the angle, you end up with some issues. Having Boost Ball here is going to allow a number of things for us later. Now, Boost Ball very specifically will help us with infinite speed, which is coming up very shortly after we do the Wavestone Secret World and Wall Crawl. To the setup to help her crop using the letterbox file select screen. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. I'm so sorry. Now, pretty much what ends up happening here is scan dashing is quite fast, but you do decelerate quite quickly after when you hit the ground and whatnot. So for certain movement, we like to boost ball. We used to use boost ball. We're going to use a lot of boost ball in this run. I feel like that always happens in this game. You can't see their health when they're in morph. Well, that's going to bother me for the rest of time. Thank you so much for that, Asder. All right, so Cody here doing something the Adriana Shoreline Secret World, or entering Wave Sun. Now we call it Wave Sun because we're actually going to be using this secret world and wall crawl to be getting both Wave Beam and Artifact of Sun at the same time. In Chozo Ice Temple is the Artifact of Sun, and not too far away from that, after fighting Sheegoth, you're meant to get Wave Beam. Now, you're supposed to come back with Plasma Beam to get Artifact of Sun, but again, that's slow. No one wants to backtrack very much. So what we're going to do is a trick called Infinite Speed. Infinite Speed allows us to essentially... Oh, no, that's not good. Cody falling down. Not a good morph. Now he's going to have to ether jump back up. Hopefully he can get a jump quite quickly here. Oh, okay. Okay, opting not to ether jump, just scaling the room once again. This is good. Anyway, so what happens is when you trick a room, or when you trick the game into thinking you're in a different room than you actually are, walls become kind of sticky. It allows you to stay in one place and and it also decreases friction. So as you spin in one spot using the stickiness, quote unquote, of the wall, you can actually increase your z-axis momentum exponentially, to the point where the game actually can't figure out what you're doing, and causes the rotational momentum to be considered not a number. Now, when you have this thing which we call Nan Ball, or Infinite Speed, what you can do is you can boost, and when you touch a piece of collision when you use Boost Ball and have Nan Ball, the game returns all collision checks as true, which means you touch all enemies, which means you take some damage, and you touch all items, and you touch all walls. Pretty much everything inbounds ends up being counted as true, even though you're not actually touching them. This allows you to pick up items you're not meant to pick up, just by being in the same room as them. You're going to see another instance of that later when we enter Magma Pools. We're going to be getting a Power Bomb expansion early. Now, notably, with both missiles and Power Bombs, you don't actually have to have the main missiles or main Power Bombs to use missiles and Power Bombs. You do have to get main Power Bombs, though, to allow you to get Artifact of Warrior later, as an unfortunate thing called layers happens, where kind of interferes. The spin up's quite long for this, but again, it causes you to not have to backtrack to get Artifact of Sun, which is quite nice. So you're actually going to see, as we noted there, a duplicate Samus there. These baby Sheegoths, you're meant to fight them and then fight the mother Sheegoth to get Wave Beam, and you can actually do Artifact of Sun. You can do an Infinite Speed inbounds to do Artifact of Sun as well, but that's also quite slow, so we're not going to do that. Cody hit the shot. Very good. So you can as you scan dash away there, and you can actually shoot a shot in the air to potentially open that door early. Interslice looking like he's doing Wave Sun as well. All right, fair enough. Yeah. So with using scan dashing and some of the movement tech that we have, it allows you to do things you're obviously not meant to do, like climb the sides of rooms, jump out of bounds, things like that. What you're noticing Cody or Interslice do here is something called a door dump. What it does is, because Finjana Shorelines is such a big room, it takes up a lot of space and memory. And if you try to load too many rooms at the same time, especially when you've got bigger rooms, the game will actually crash. So we have to manually dump the room, because you're not going to hit the inbound trigger to cause the room to unload. Why need the doors? Time so dumb won't open others. Oh, is it just because the game has to load so much more data, or is it more than that? It's pretty much just that, Alcaris. What happens is, especially in bigger rooms and when we have a lot of enemies in the room, the game has to load not just the collision, not just the textures, but it has to load the actors as well. So especially when you see Chozo Ice Temple has a number of enemies in it, and that causes the game to take a lot longer to load. Now, most of us do Interslice missing the same jump as Cody. Most of us do use the Wii to play are GameCube discs, as it causes the game. Wii's load faster, and it also means that you don't risk certain crashes that you can on GameCube. Going into Chozo Elevator, just out of Talon Overworld, sometimes the game will just crash for reasons. Depends on how early you hit the load trigger for the next room. That's absolutely true. If you hit a load trigger for a room farther back in the room and then you take a little bit to get to the door, it'll seem like the door opens pretty much instantly, but that's just because the room's already loaded, having already moved through the room. Cody here making quick world of the second trip through Magmore. Did anyone actually see if he picked up Artifact of Strength? Because that was really fast. Or maybe I was just paying attention to Interslice. Cody doing some fancy movement. Oh, okay. I blinked. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, Jeremy, play the clip. Okay. Well, we're gonna hope that we didn't get another instance of Cody missing an artifact. Cody here already back in Chozo Ruins, having gone all the way through through Fendrana again, all the way through Magmore, all the way through Talon Overworld, and already back to Chozo Ruins. We're going to be going here to go get another artifact very quickly. It's not too far out of the way. You do have to go through a room that we need a wave beam to access, which is part of why we get this on the second pass. What we do here is we jump on a couple of things that you're meant to have Spider Ball to get to. But, you know, we don't need Spider Ball. Who needs it? Some tricks get harder, but, you know, some are not. Cody used a different spot on the wall than Interslice to spin up Nanball. Interslice opting to use the wall, whereas Cody used a corner. Now I can't remember which one, but one of them has a much less specific angle, or it's the same angle specificity, but it's a little easier to hit because one of them is in a notch, and the other one's not. So Interslice here just leaving the wave sun. Yeah. He definitely got it. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Thanks, Aster. Hello, Dark Spring Bonies. I really hope I didn't massacre your name. How you doing today? Yeah, Cody's run going quite well so far. If I were him, I'd be very proud of this run, especially in a race setting. Now, I'm also bad, though, so don't listen to me when I say that I'd be proud of something, because anything under like a 110 I'd be proud of. I am quite well. I'm glad you're doing fine. It's a beautiful day where I live, and I get to go see my girlfriend later. It's just gonna be fantastic. Getting to watch some Prime. Always a time. All right, so this is going to be the second instance of infinite speed slash Nanball. Cody's going to use a specific angle and hold a specific direction again to once again spin up using essentially a sticky spot on the wall. It's a little bit of a wedge in between the blocks there and the wall that allows you to spin up like this. You don't always have to go out of bounds to get infinite speed, but you do have to use specific collision. You either have to essentially trick the room into thinking you're in a different room, or use specific spots in collision that'll allow you to spin up. And not every room you can't really do it in every room without tricking the game. All right, Interslice here, having gotten Artifact of Strength, waiting for the room to open. There we go. Some of the load times on Interslice are making me wonder if Interslice is actually using a GameCube instead of a Wii. Now, an interesting thing while we're spinning up here and while we're watching Interslice move through Magmore, we lost a number of a bunch of opportunities apparently in development to match the name of the artifact with the name of the room that we're dealing with. So, like, Artifact of Wild is in Sun Chamber, where Artifact of Sun is in Chozo Ice Temple. You've got Artifact of World in Hall of the Elders and Artifact of Strength in Warrior Shrine, but Artifact of Warrior is in Elite Research. Now, Cody here using a specific spot to unmorph and morph again. Notice when he unmorphed, we actually got a show on something called Light Show, which is what happens when you unmorph during infinite speed. The game doesn't know how to deal with it, so because your rotational momentum is still considered to be not a number, so it puts your camera way out of bounds to a point where the game just goes absolutely mental. Now you can't really morph until you find a spot where the game repositions your camera. But by unmorphing and then morphing in a spot where the game repositions your camera, you activate boost ball again. Because in most spots where you use boost ball, where you have proper nan ball, where you still don't have the shell of the boost ball or of the morph ball, you'll end up crashing the game. Should put Artifact Newborn in Ruined Nursery. Yeah, nailed it. Or just, yeah. Anyway, Cody here doing the IBBF. He got a very clean secret world, but having a little bit of trouble entering the next room here. The IBBF was discovered by my friend Flamancipator, who wanted to devise a way to get Ice Beam before having fought Flagra. Now, we still call it the IBBF, even though we're doing it after Flagra, and it's just so much faster because it allows us to skip a number of puzzles. Or, one specific puzzle and some weird movement. Now, the original point of the IBBF was you would skip wave beam doors as well, but that's kind of besides the point. So what we're going to be doing is using out of bounds movement to travel to the Hall of the Elders, outside of which is a room connected to the room where you find Ice Beam. Why does Ruined Nursery sound like an Echoes room? Or is that Ing Nursery? Something like that. Yeah, Cody having a little bit of trouble with the out of bounds movement today. Not a huge deal, as Interslice is still quite a bit behind. He's still got a 45 to 50 second spin up on the Mega Pool's infinite speed, and Cody's way ahead. So, I mean, it is still, of course, anyone's race, but we are seeing definitely the skill gap between runners here. Interslice, a great runner themselves, but Cody, an exceptional runner, with very few people with a time ahead of Cody. So, Cody is definitely part of what we call the sub-hour club, which means that his in-game time personal best is below an hour. All right, there we go. We've loaded Hall of the Elders. Unfortunately, it's triggered the ghost fight, which is it's not a huge deal. But it is ideal to not trigger the ghost fight. Okay, this is a problem. Now, this is what we call a floor warp or a door warp. And what we want to do is essentially cause the room to load around him. But the room is now loaded. And just, yeah, okay, so this is definitely an issue. What we want to do is shoot the door at a specific time to cause the room to load around Cody, but now the room is loaded, and just the collision is loaded for this room, which is a problem because we need to get inside. There we go, we got the ceiling warp. Very good. Okay, so yeah, that definitely some difficulties there, but Cody recovered it quite nicely. Fortunately, he's familiar with the backup strat. All right, another slip jump off the top of that stone frog there to get to the second level. Stabbing on Interscreen. Yeah, so what happened there was the second instance on Interslice's side of infinite speed. By using a specific angle that you sit in of collision with your morph ball, you can cause your rotational momentum as you hold a specific direction to increase exponentially. Yes, very intended. We use that when you boost into a wall while you have that what we call the nan ball state. You touch basically everything. Yeah, it's intended in the run, certainly not intended in the developer sense. Yeah, so Cody already has Ice Beam here. So the next order of business is going to be to go get I think it's Artifact of Chozo? Can't remember. Anyway, so we're gonna get an artifact and excavate faster here, as we already have the. I want a nan ball. I have nan bread sitting across from me, and I so desperately want to eat it right now. But I've also got some lemongrass curry that I made last night that I want to eat as well. So that would actually go really well with the nan bread. Yeah. Anyway, so another great instance. This is called Life Grove, and in it we have Artifact of Chozo. So, nailed it. Thank you, Retro, for naming these. All right, I don't know if Retro named them, but whatever. Point is, really great naming scheme. Let's just say that. Yeah, Interslice doing puzzle skip. Interslice didn't do puzzle skip. Interslice just going to go get Ice Beam the au naturel way, the quite literally intended route. Now, you're meant to use Boost Ball there to climb the half pipe, but we can just R jump around it. Now, R jumping is a very interesting thing, where what it allows you to do is maintain momentum a lot better using the R button. Now the R button is a horrible button that if you don't treat nicely and you don't treat it with respect will ruin you. Now when Cody does it next, I'll point out something called bunny hopping, which is akin to R jumping. What it allows you to do is actually increase your momentum by transferring some of your movement into sideways movement, which, as we discussed earlier, does not have a movement speed cap. Bunny hopping is good for specific instances, but Boost Ball is a lot faster in a lot of instances, so bunny hopping is going to be a little... Bunny hopping is essentially faster here in situations where morphing takes more time. So that was exactly what I was talking about, where Cody moved through the room essentially sideways. Yeah. Interslice now. Going to get Ice Beam. Again, quite literally the intended route. So the next order of business for Cody is going to be to go get Plasma Beam, which is in a room called Geothermal Core. Now, we don't have Spider Balls again, so we're going to see a lot of fancy movement to get to spots in Geocore that, you're intended to reach. But actually, we might see if Cody does plate skip, we're going to see a spot that you're not intended to reach. But yeah, we're gonna move through the room in an unintended way. Interslice now grabbing Ice Beam, so we are once again seeing a big difference in this one. But hey, that's how tournaments work. Sometimes you get runners that do well in the first couple of rounds and then end up in a bind where they go against a runner that's quite a bit. That being said, it is still anyone's race. Cody does have the possibility of messing up a trick here and there that could cause massive time loss. All right, Cody grabbing a save on the ship makes total sense. No reason not to in an RTA race. Generally. Or I guess there is a reason not to in an RTA race, but it's just one of those things where it's such negligible time and can be so massively helpful if something goes wrong. Now, in general, grabbing a save in an in-game time race is quite literally negligible time. If you move through a room with a save station in it, because in in-game time the timer is only counting when you have direct control of Samus. Not in menuing, what you can do essentially is not care about time when you're not controlling Samus at the save station, because menuing doesn't count. Dying is also negligible time. Now, I think you spelled negligent wrong, but you know how it is. Interslice now exiting Life Grove tunnel into Life Grove itself. I think the room's called Life Grove. What am I doing with my life? I need to get better at these room memorizations. Of course, geothermal core, as you'd expect, is in Magmore Caverns. Fortunately, we do not need to see the second comic of Triclops Pit, which is one of my most hated rooms of the game. All right, so you're meant to use what you do in this room is you're meant to use boost ball in these slots to raise the plates, which you then use to jump from one to the other to the point that you get to the top of the room. Now, on this one, you're meant to have spider ball to climb that little spider track up on top of this plate that Cody's currently raising. Now, there's a little ledge, though, in the spider ball track, which means we can just jump up through it. Because why not? And then, of course, we jump up here and miss the bump slot entirely, which is not intended. All right, so having bombed that, we're going to see the roof raise here and a little platform come out. Now, again, you're supposed to essentially bomb jump up and then spider ball on this ledge. Get all the way around and up here to the ledge, which you're supposed to trigger popping out. Now, the thing that Cody decided to stand on there that you didn't see is there. It's just the texture moves out. So we used a slip jump off of the lip of the spider ball track to get upwards momentum and move all the way up to that door. And now having all 4 beams, Cody can now move out of Magmore. And we're going to be, I believe it's Pirate Labs is what we're going to do next, which will mean we'll grab the final visor of the game, the thermal visor. As well as going to Control Tower to get an artifact. Now, ahead of this, okay. I think Cody soft locked last round, so that's probably a reason for the save. Yeah, Cody not only soft locked, we also saw my personal favorite thing where you miss Artifact of World entirely. Now I had the desire to play this game. It's a long time ago when I played it. Yeah, this game was a lot of my childhood. I played this game over and over and over. I never got better at it because I was really young, but when I met my buddy Flemancipator, one of the OG runners of this game, we really just clicked and connected over actually Magic the Gathering. And I mentioned Metroid Prime speedrunning and I wanted to get into it. He's like, well, I can teach you. And I'm like, teach me, senpai. So he not only became my mentor as a Magic the Gathering player and eventually as a Magic the Gathering judge, but also as a Metroid Prime runner. So yeah, I have to out-level him in something, and I don't know what it's gonna be yet because he's just so much better at everything than me. Except singing. I have him on that, which is kind of nice. Offer training for the win. Anyway, Cody here going to get another artifact. In this room, there's a thing you're supposed to use. You're supposed to use morph ball bombs or not morph ball bombs, power bombs to blow open this essentially rock face, which has a plasma beam door behind it. Climbing this room the normal way is slow, though, so we're going to use the wall to climb as you do. You can actually shoot, if you shoot a specific spot on the door, you can shoot the door through the rock face there, which you can see Cody doing. It's one of the first big speed games, right? Yeah, pretty much. I believe Space Jump First, one of the first sequence break of the game, was found like 6 months after the game's release. So yeah, this speed game has certainly stood the test of time, where others, potentially haven't. The popularity of some games, I mean, this game's popularity has waxed and waned, but functionally, the players that have stuck with it, it's a fairly tight community, and it's a good game and a lot of very helpful people to help people get on their feet. So it's the first non-quake game to be featured on SDA. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Esther. Now, one of the things of note is that the rule set of speedrunning this game has changed over time. Since the day of Radix, when out of bounds was considered cheating, we have certainly evolved. Yeah, I thought I heard something about that. Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. As they're coming in with the knowledge. I am, of course, here in my garage. Just bought this new Lamborghini. It's fun to drive on the Hollywood Hills. You know what I love more than my new Lamborghini? Knowledge. Now, any of you that don't understand that meme, you are an absolute heathen. And you're lucky. I remember the days of playing Black Ops 2 and Prop Hunt and whatnot with I Am Wildcat and H2O Delirious and them. Oh my gosh. That was good times. I only got to play with them a few times, but some of the funnest people I've ever gamed with. Anyway, back on topic here. Cody, moving through Pirate Labs quite quickly. We're going to the control tower here. One of the big things is we're going to try not to trigger a fight with flying pirates, but we do also have to get another morph ball or another power bomb, which is a little difficult. Now, Flamancipator or Flammy also contributed this lovely thing. You're meant to use plasma beam to melt some ice to be able to shoot that, but you can just jump at a specific angle to shoot over the barrier. Interslice using a backup strat, having missed the original slope jump, but fortunately, Interslice recovering quite quickly from that in geothermal core. Now with plasma beam. All right, so we are having an issue where we don't have a power bomb yet. Power bomb is going to be integral to moving forward to the next part of the run. What the fuck did that hit? I thought it hit the force field. Yeah, it looked like it was going to clip it. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Okay. So Cody opting to grab another missile there. It's not really out of the way and takes, again, negligible time to get another energy tank there. Interestingly, we'll see if he grabs the one on the way out of labs as well, which again is negligible time because you have plasma beam and you can just basically walk through it. You'd be boosting through the room otherwise, and that's the only real difference in game time. But in RTA, it does take a little bit more time. Now, after you get thermal visor, you're supposed to do this thing called blackout. You're supposed to retrace your path through labs, which we did backwards, and go out the front door of labs. Now, the thing is, though, we have wave beam, or I think it's wave beam. Yeah. So we're just gonna not pay attention to that. We're just gonna it's ice beam. Sorry. Yeah. So we're gonna use ice beam to just kind of leave, because ain't nobody got time for that. No one wants to go through labs. Labs sucks. Yeah, so using ice beam, we're just gonna kind of peace out here. Because, yeah, swag on morph. There you go. Now, notably, the one door deactivates until you use thermal visor and deal with some stuff to be able to reactivate it, but the ice beam door just doesn't because reasons. Good evening, Strazer, whichever 86. How are you tonight? Yeah, so Cody having a little bit of trouble with labs there, opting to do falling scads, but kind of missing a little bit. That's all right. Still a good recovery overall. Still got the lead. Farfin John is a bit of a mess. I don't really like going there myself. It's either that Geocore or it's either that Geocore, Triclops Pit, or Fungal Hall A that bother me the most. MQA is pretty bad though too. Settling in for a lot of games. Very good. Very happy for you. I'm glad that you get to have a chill night. I am so sorry. I'm yawning on the mic. This is horrible. Anyway, Cody grabbing a power bomb there is quite clutch. Yeah, climbing the room that Interslice is climbing without defeating the enemies, or at least some of the enemies, is so incredibly just difficult and really not worth it. If you've got plasma beams, so you might as well just shoot down the pirates at least. Make your life that much easier. Okay, so Cody is now in Phazon Mines. This is meant to be the last, or the last major area of not endgame stuff that you're meant to do. It's an incredibly challenging and a tricky area full of puzzles that are much more difficult than the other areas. It's at this point of the game where the skill level required to stay alive really ramps up, culminating with your fight against the Omega Pirate. Fortunately, for dealing with the elite pirates and the Omega Pirate, we have strategies. For example, I'll give you a little hint as to how we deal with elites. We kind of just make them spin slowly to the left or to the right, depending on what your preference is. They have an issue with that. If you move it at mild saunter, like watch this. We're gonna make this pirate spin very casually to the left, and it'll just do nothing. Actual nothing. Cody with the spoilers again. It seems we might have a good maze on Cody's end. I guess we'll see. Whoa. Okay. Fair enough. Now, this maze has, the Powerbomb maze has a number of false dead ends that you can get yourself into. They'll have those little ones that pick themselves up, and yeah, it was a 2-corner maze. You're like 1.5 corner, really. Gotta love it. I would love to see if anyone has the maze route indicator. I think Edson has a thing that will tell you how good your maze RNG is. It'd be nice to see. Anyway, yeah, Cody moving through here quite quickly, and I'm so sorry, I'm once again yawning. Now, unfortunately, attempting to shoot a wave beam door with ice beam is not going to work. Apparently my phone is dying. That would be because I have 16 apps open. Nailed it. Learn the hard way. The maze is a memory hub. Exited the room with an active and rando crash. Yeah. That's a thing. And also an oof. I'm gonna give you the good old Oscar Foxtrot there. Myself to blame. I knew it when it happened. Yep, valid. Now, this room is a little tricky because we don't do it, the way it's intended. It's still tricky if you, do it the intended way, but with spider bolts, a little easier. So we're supposed to use a specific spot and manipulate the Metroids to allow you to scan dash or combat dash off them to get to the door. Obviously, the Metroids were a little trolly there. So, fortunately, we are now moving through quite a bit better. Been loving the 90% tourney. Yeah, it's a great tournament. I absolutely love it. I'm very thankful for SpeedGaming, our lovely hosts, who have been generous enough to allow us to use their channel, and also to Dante Must Die 234 for organizing this event. We could not do it without him. what we could, but it would just be that much more difficult, and no one really wants to deal with that. Because it's a catastrophe. It's really like herding cats sometimes, folks. Have you ever tried to get a bunch of introverts who spend most of their time, you know, playing video games and whatnot to commit to time frames? It's horrible. Love everyone to death, but good lord, people are bad at time frames. Anyway, would you say this game is the best in the Metroid Prime series? I would say the novelty of 1 is my favorite, but and as a speedrunner, I prefer 1. But I think 2 is a better casual experience. 3 is an amazing casual game, but like for me, it's just it doesn't really maintain the same kind of nostalgia as 1 and 2. I think for me, the motion controls, they were quite immersive, but also, I don't know, it's just so much different. And I grew up on Prime and Echoes, so I really enjoy 3. And it's not that it's not a Metroid Prime game, it's just, it's kind of different, you know? I am still, however, looking to Prime 4. Yeah, I agree, Esther. I wouldn't want to speedrun it, and I wouldn't want to play it multiple times. I might go play it again soon, but that's because I haven't played it in years. I golden main PB thing. Yeah, of course you did, Cody. Trilogy on Switch, I can play through it. No. Yeah, good luck with that. Oh, we're so many of us are hyped for Prime 4. 3 just doesn't feel like a Prime game. I don't know, it feels like a Prime game to me. Sort of. Like, they did what they could, but motion controls are just a little whack, you know? Different planets on 3 are actually a negative exploration. Yeah, I would say I struggled with that a lot as well. I definitely prefer the immersive experience of going through one planet and experiencing it to its fullest, as opposed to you know, dealing with multiple planets like that, because it kind of seemed like certain spots were underdeveloped, which wasn't awesome. Yeah. Even in Echoes, I would say my least favorite thing about Echoes was that you were dealing with Light and Dark World, which is a really neat concept, but in some ways it didn't feel the same, you know? Like when you go through oh, and also in 3 you're dealing with a very lived in world, right? In Prime 1, more so than Prime 2, you don't come across other, you know, friendly creatures. You're by yourself. You're going through this all alone. And it's such a unique feel. And the music even reflects it. And you know, it is really the OST I very much prefer on in Prime. Echoes is still a great game, but it feels like the world has been, you know, you're coming across something of a civilization that really just died out. It's not ancient. There's nothing, you know. And you actually do meet other you know, friendly creatures. You meet the Luminoth, right? So Brio had decent interconnectivity, but that was it. Yeah, I agree. It seems like it seemed to me like they tried to open up the world too much in a game, in a game series that very much focused on exploring one place to its fullest and really experiencing the world, right? Instead of, you know, experiencing a solar system. And then eventually Phase. Now, Phase was an absolutely incredible planet that I very much enjoyed playing through, but still. Like, I suppose it had to be done if they were planning on ending the Prime series at the time, right? That lonely feel really sold Prime 1. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Coming across the artificial intelligence and whatnot in Sanctuary Fortress and 2 kind of, it felt different. It didn't feel the same. I really enjoyed Torvus, very similarly to how I enjoyed Talon Overworld. I think I prefer Talon Overworld overall. I definitely prefer Fenjana to... or I prefer Chozo to Aegon. But I think overall, I think Temple Grounds was... I would choose Temple Grounds over Chozo, Chozo over Aegon, Fenjana over all 3. Megmore, I don't mind Megmore, but it's... I mean, Megmore, they were trying to produce the nostalgia of Norfair, right? So. Anyway, yeah. So we already have phase on suit on Cody's end here. One of the neat things about when you get phase on suit is because we don't actually have gravity suit in the cutscenes. It'll tick up the suit value by 1, meaning you'll actually see gravity suit when you grab phase on suit for some reason. And just like that in the end cutscene, we're gonna see as you lose phase on suit, we're also gonna be seeing gravity suit instead, which kind of doesn't make no sense. So the next goal for Cody is actually going to be to go to grab Artifact of Warrior, which will be you know, a bit of an experience, shall we say? Another instance where we're going to be, you know, causing a pirate to turn very slowly to the left, but you know how it is. Interesting that he laid a power bomb there. That I'm not sure if I missed something or if that was unintended. Interslice here now, ending up in the Omega Pirate fight. A little bit low on missiles, it seems. So choosing not to spam missiles like you would usually. It's a lot faster to spam missiles overall. I'd love to see how the Omega cutscene looks with Power Suit. Kept hoping for that in the rando tourney as well. Yeah. So that would be a situation. You need elevator randomization. Not having Varia and trying to go through Megmore is like skipping Varia is task only. So we do have 20% possibility in task, but to skip Varia is quite difficult. Cody here now doing the hardest part of not grabbing Spider Ball. You wouldn't need elevator rando? Do me the telling. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Cody having a little trouble with Shaft 1 here. The bane of most people's existence. This shaft sucks. Largely, you could have gravity available to access. Phase on via frigate. Well, there you go. I couldn't tell you. I mean, that sounds like it would work. I just my expertise is more any percent oriented, unfortunately, and even then, it's not really expertise. I just talk a lot. Cody now doing Shaft 2. Now, but a lot of people seem to think that Shaft is easy because, you know, they watch T3 do it. It's really not, folks. It's so incredibly difficult without Spider Ball. With Spider Ball, it's a joke. But without Spider Ball, it's quite tricky. Cody making quick work of Shaft 2 there, but having so much difficulty on Shaft 1. When a runner as skilled as Cody has that kind of issue, you know what's going on. All right, now as soon as all the pirates are dealt with here, we're going to see a power bomb laid. It's going to break open the chamber there, and we're going to go to war against. Now I think we're calling him Calvin, which is great. Yeah. So once again, Calvin's weakness is turning very slowly. Pirates are just not sure what to do about it. And just like that, folks, we have a Artifact of Warrior. Yeah, climbing or processing is it's spooky. You don't lose a lot of time for falling back down, but it is a pain, and it's quite difficult, and you can fall multiple times. So, yeah, I don't like climbing. I mean, I hate shafts more than I hate ore processing, but still. I never ran the game, but I did a 23% playthrough when I was 13. That shaft was too hard. I'd take a 23% grabbed boost ball. Yeah, vent shaft is heck. When someone told me that I could do a 21% playthrough, I was like, cool. And they're like, yeah, but you have to do vent shaft without spider ball. And I'm like, thanks. Now die. You know, like immediately run Samus face first off a cliff and into a bunch of Phazon without Phazon suit. Anyway, we're gonna see if Cody this time remembers. I'm hoping. Castlevania Aria Sora Randomizer Tournament 2020 is happening now on twitch.tv/speedgaming3. That's really cool. But y'all should stay here. I like Prime more. Not that I don't like Castlevania. Castlevania is an awesome series as well, but you know, Metroidvania. Nice. I've been learning vanilla tricks as I play random. What kind of tricks have you been learning? Yeah, Interslice taking time to line up the jumps here. It makes total sense. It's very spooky to be doing shafts without spider. All right, Cody. Skipping ghost fight on the way up. Let's see if you can grab it on the way. If you can skip it on the way down. Rip. It's alright, it's only one ghost, but still. And this time we have X-ray, which is kind of nice. There we go. Cody. Oh whoa, it's a ledge clip. Ooh woo. I'm a Glaceon. Practice mod is super handy. I learned early SJB, early Artifact of Wild, Wave Sun, and Control Tower with no plasma skipping the fight. Vanilla tricks, they say. And then describe Wave Sun and Artifact of Wild. And early Wild, wow. Yeah, okay. Vanilla tricks, sure. Yeah, okay, that I buy. See, like vanilla tricks to me would be like combat dashing and tactical morph ball use. I don't know. I just call them speedrun strats, to be perfectly honest. It's whatever. I just had no idea what you meant, I guess. So it's like vanilla tricks, yeah, like combat dashing without use of the R button / release of L button. I don't know. Oh, yeah, there you go. Again, not really immersed in the rando community. Vanilla. I would describe Metroid Prime as the most lovely Belgian chocolate instead of vanilla. Mostly been doing rando. Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, Cody here, coming up to landing site again. We'll see if he grabs the ship save. Might as well, probably. I don't know. We might not grab the save, I guess, but it would be advisable to at least, you know, missile up or ammo up. There we go. All right, so now we get to see a very obnoxious cutscene coming up here as we enter Artifact Temple. When you enter Artifact Temple access, it you kind of, you know, spend some time looking at the crater, which is, you know, all fine and dandy. But you're supposed to have come across this room significantly earlier because you actually got one of the artifacts in Artifact Temple, as one would guess. All right, now so now we're gonna fight Ridley because we have all the artifacts here, and we'll see if Cody gets the strats. The two major things to notice is yeah, I'm not entirely sure what Cody usually writes, but he always writes the same thing. I don't really have the context though, so I can't really read it. Anyway, so the two things to be going for here are flyby skip and then snipes thereafter. We'll see how it goes. Get it? No. Backup strat? No. Yeah, so in the first phase of Ridley, Boost Ball does an absurd amount of damage to him. I'm not sure why. But it does. I wrote Uwu. You wrote Uwu? Please give me Huggy Wuggies. Uwu. Rar. X3. No, Cody, don't leave. Your Ridley went so well despite flyby skip. I think Cody's in the I don't want to talk about it phase. I'm sorry, Cody. Please come back. I would sing a song, but it's against Twitch terms of service, apparently. Wait, it's a cover. It would certainly be fair use. No, don't say that, Cody. You're already an impact crater. Get out of here. Miss me with that forfeit crap. Wow, that Vision Metroid really wants you. Rolling through red phase on. It's fast. And also required, but you don't have Spider Ball. Also, Cody, you forget, you can't bluff because I'm in the SRL. while we are... Oh, yeah, okay. So let's get some commentary going about this instead of me spacing out because of my lack of caffeine. My apologies. All right, so as we're moving through the Metroid Prime fight here, goodness, the things we don't want to see. You hate to see wave beam. You want to see lots of plasma beam. Now, unfortunately, we can't actually get plasma in this sub-chamber yet, but that's all right. You want to see a lot of plasma beam. Ice beam, I believe it's ice beam and plasma that you want to see the most. Wave third, and then charge last. You don't want to see charge beam. And just like that, folks, you hate to see it. When the Metroid Prime charges you, you can actually aim at a very specific angle and shoot at a specific time to be able to damage her while she charges, which is quite nice. We call that sniping. And yeah, so there's plasma beam. Now you want to get plasma beam a lot because you do a lot of damage. Now I don't know if you got the sniper. I wasn't really paying enough attention. My apologies. Oh boy, so sorry about this real quality commentary here, folks. 90% memes, 10% explanation. Curious, how long ago was Exoskip found? Vertigo found Exoskip. I'm pretty sure it was in 2019. No, it might have been in 2018. I'd have to ask him. Strizzer, if you want to ping GD Vertigo in... No, wait, never mind. I was going to say in the random Discord, but maybe not. Are you in the Metroid Prime speedrunning Discord? Interslice, of course, going into Impact Crater here. Cody already almost done. I'm not, but I can be. All right, let me generate an invite for you. Yeah, no problem. Got you. Always good to see new people joining the servers. Human doable exoskip was found in 2018. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Esther. When was TAS exoskip found? And I'm pretty sure that was Hazel that found that, right? Cody here at a slightly spooky level of HP. Hopefully, he has no problem dodging the shockwaves and can grab some of the ultras that are going to spawn. Yeah, that was 2016. Yeah, cool. Kind of figured. Did we not get an ultra? Thank goodness. Alright. See how trolly Prime does here. Yeah, so this would be one of the situations where you need thermal and X-ray for. It allows you to see where the Metroid Prime is, which is quite nice. Because, you know, shooting blind is never fun. And now Cody here is doing something called pool canceling, which is essentially what happens is by moving in and out of the pools and firing at a specific time, it doesn't deplete any of the energy from the pool, which means you can shoot for longer. It allows you to use the maximum amount of time from the pool instead of instead of being based on how much enemy. Those plasma orbs gave me a heart attack. Yeah, no kidding, Cody. Are we gonna get a 3-pool? That'd be fun. Yeah, we got a 3-pool. Congratulations, Cody. You are the winner of this race. And now we're just going to switch the audio over to Interslice here, as Cody's just going through the final cutscenes. Oh, going through the final bosses, rather. Nope, Cody is going through the final cutscenes. I am correct. Nailed it. I'm so sorry, folks. I need more caffeine. But hey, I'm having fun. I hope everyone else is having fun too. GG's to Cody and Interslice. Really well done by both of them. I'm really glad to have been able to commentate this race. Now, does anyone have any questions while Interslice runs through the final bosses here that I can answer for you? Any questions whatsoever. Also, thank you, Cody, for fixing credits. Are super missiles worth it in this category? Unfortunately not. So super missiles can be quite fast at very specific things, right? So super missiles would help with Metroid Prime. They would, if we got Spider Ball, that would help with going to get Artifact of Early Wild, or Early Wild rather. But unfortunately we don't, and that'd be a lot of back attack. Super missiles are really good at dealing a lot of damage to a lot of things. Ghosts is one of them, but because we don't fight a lot of ghosts, we don't really need super missiles that much. It would help with Mega Pirate, but in the end, going out of the way to get super missiles is slower than just fighting the enemies. If we were picking up beam combos, then it would be a more so. Oh yeah, use supers on ghosts. Yeah, super missile doors. If they were in this game, would be a thing. That would make sense. You don't have to just wall crawl around them every time, but yeah. It's kind of the same thing with Spider Ball. Optimally, a lot of the rooms that you can climb Spider Ball with are actually faster to climb without if you know how. Like, just even ILing the room. Or in some cases, like, it would be technically faster, hypothetically, to use Spider Ball to climb to get Early Wild from the point you fall down to lights. it's faster to not have to backtrack in any sense. Because you have to backtrack routing-wise to get a missile expansion, I believe, is faster to grab. And of course, you actually have to grab Spider Ball. It's just faster to use Spider Ball than climb up that way. Yes, that's correct, Esther. Super missiles, yeah, of course, also very good against Prime as well, but their beam expansion, their beam combos are good too. Interestingly, Spencer, if you ever get the chance, try to fight Flagra using Wave Buster. If you have enough missiles, it's a lot of fun. Cody, what are you doing? That is glorious. Shameless. Okay, that's not like slow level shameless, but it's good. That's some good content. Oh boy. Only would have been better if it came slowly from the start. Having it scroll in would have been fucking awesome. Optimally, this should do it. This should be the final pull. There we go. And Interslice is done. GG's to both runners. If both of you would like to hop in the Discord for a moment, just for a quick interview, that would be fantastic, and we can get right into the news. Not actually. I am not in any way associated or affiliated with Keemstar. Hello, Interslice and Cody. How are y'all doing today?
GG, Interslice.
Movement there?
Is my mic working now? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good to go.
All right, GG, Cody.
All right, so first of all, congratulations to you both. Now, couple questions for you. Interslice, talk to me about your you're not doing the IBBF. Is that something? Did you do IBBF last time and I just missed it, or?
No, I stopped doing it for the tournament because I'm used.
Okay, that makes sense. And I noticed you also didn't do the frigate wall crawl. Is that something that you also stopped for the tournament, or? Was
Oh
that,
no, I've never done that before. It's
okay,
hard for me.
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Cody, talk to me about your Shaft 1.
I hate it. Sometimes I line myself up, I push myself in the corner just like I do every time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for some reason like 60% chance of working,
Sure.
and it didn't work this time or the last race.
That's fair. Now, at very least we grabbed World this time.
Yeah.
Cause dang, that was a little bit hectic last time. Not super, good content. But it is good content that you grabbed it this time. And of course, congratulations to both of you, Cody especially though, as you have won this round. I'm just gonna have a look at the bracket here. Hold up, Justin lost to Pen?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Justin soft locked doing early newborn.
Oh, oof. Yeah, fair enough. All right. So Cody, you're gonna be up against Icefire next. How does that make you feel?
It's looking like it's gonna be a hard race.
Fair enough. And if I remember correctly, Icefire has a couple minutes on you PB wise. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. Do you have any strategies you're going to bring out to try to defeat Icefire, or is it just going to be one of those do what you always do and hope it works things?
It depends.
Yeah?
I might grind out Exoskit, but I don't know if I can get it consistent enough to beat my RTA with it every time.
Yeah,
By the time for the
totally
next
fair.
one.
That's totally fair. Yeah. Now Interslice. Now, tell me, are you planning on doing more tournaments in the future, or is this?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely do another one if there's another one. This
Okay,
is a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that. I'll definitely let Dante know about that. I just I heard some rumors that you might be ducking out in the future ones, and I was like, oh, that just makes me super sad. So.
No, I'll stick around.
That's good. That's good to hear. Anyway, thank you both for the amazing content of this race. I hope you all had lots of fun, and thank you to our hosts, SpeedGaming, as well as Dante Mustache. Thank you both for joining me in the call. I am going to hop out, and GG's both of you. Best of luck in the future.
Yeah. Thanks for commentating.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have a great day, folks.